Hello everyone, welcome to Final Fantasy XIV, and today you join me in the nice little village of Quarry Mill, which is home to what is known as the Palace of the Dead, which is one of currently 2 deep dungeons in the game. So for anybody who isn't familiar, Deep Dungeon is what I would describe as a self-contained arcade style minigame based on the combat system from the main game. You get 1 life per run, and your objectives are to destroy monsters, collect treasures, and find the exit to the next floor. Climb as many floors as you can, basically. Floors are separated into sets of 10 and are usually generated at random, so you don't know exactly how the floors are all going to look or like where monsters are going to be positioned. On every 10th floor, you face off against a specific boss every time. So you get the first 9 floors randomly generated. Floor 10, it's the first boss every time. And so on and so on and so on. Every fresh run you start at a set level on a set floor. You can unlock a later start point, which I have done, and I'll get to that in a bit. But instead of gear, you accumulate what is called ether pool, and you get ether pool arm and ether pool armor. So instead of gear that you would normally use in the main game, that you get new gear by doing new dungeons and raids and things, you collect the ether pool armor, and every time you successfully defeat a boss, it saves how much ether pool you currently have. So when you eventually fail and have to start again, you start with all of the ether pool that you had from the last successful boss kill. So in that sense, it gets easier each time you start again. They can be played on your own, which is what I prefer to do, or in a group of up to 4 people. Now, the reason I prefer to do it on my own is it's something that I like to reserve for myself to do when no one else is online, such as right now. If you see the tiny little clock on the top right of the screen, it's 4:45 in the morning. Now, because I don't sleep too well, I don't have a normal sleep routine. Some nights I get up and I come and play a game of some sort, and sometimes I like that to be Deep Dungeon, and it's just something that I can do on my own at any time of the day when no one else is around, and just see how far I can get, see what treasures I can find, all that sort of thing. So I've dabbled in these. I've gotten probably to around the 60th floor ish, I think, in this one specifically, in Palace of the Dead. Now, I probably did that quite a long time ago, and I probably did actually do that in a group, because when I first started doing these, it was friends that I was running it with. So we were able to get a lot further, a lot easier, because as long as there's one person left alive, you can actually resurrect people. So, it gets a little bit easier when there's more of you. But what I've decided is I'd like to actually try and see if I can get further, see how far I actually can get, and maybe one day actually reach the final floor and face off against the final boss. I don't know how many floors there are, but excuse me, maybe one day we'll find out. So bear in mind, of course, that I am a casual player. I don't sweat the hard modes at endgame. I don't min-max my character. I don't read guides. So if you're looking for something more instructional or a display of high-end skill, this isn't going to be for you. But if you want to watch along with me, kind of stand over my shoulder while I develop experience and find these bosses, learn how to beat them, and so on, then you're more than welcome to to join me in this journey. So what I'll do is we'll do a run in Palace of the Dead, and then when that eventually comes to an end, we'll go over to the second deep dungeon, which is called Heaven on High, and we'll see how far I can get in that one. So when I get in there, I'm not going to be we're not going to be speed running or anything, obviously, because as I said, like going in on your own, it's not as easy to recover from mistakes. So pull too much and then accidentally step on a landmine, game over. So that's probably the most likely way that I've died in the past, is gotten a bit impatient or a little bit cocky and pulled too many monsters and then stepped on a landmine. So pretty much instant karma when that sort of thing happens. So I'm going to avoid that, but I'm not going to dawdle either. So once the exit is opened, and the exit opens by killing a certain number of monsters, unless there's a specific treasure still on that floor that I want to get, then I will be heading to the exit straight away. So we're going to be taking it fairly casual, but we're not going to be hanging around and wasting time either. So I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to say about what these are and what my mission statement is before we get going. So I'd say it's time now to actually get going. Before we do, if you're wondering, like if you're not familiar with MMOs or Final Fantasy in particular, what's going on with everything around the edge of my screen, all you really need to worry about is the green bar on the top left, which is my health. And if that is completely emptied out, then I'm dead and the run is over. Everything else is really for me to worry about. That's all my spells down in the middle, and like the map on the top right. And then when we get inside, there'll be a different blue box on the left, and I'll explain that as we go along. And I'll do my best to explain things as I go along. So I think I've waffled on a little bit too much already, so we should actually get going. I've emptied out my ether pool armor to 0, so this can be as much of a fresh start as possible. And I've also emptied out both of my save slots, so it's pretty much a clean slate. I'm entering as a fixed party, which means I'm going in on my own. He's going to ask me, am I sure I want to go in on my own? And I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to start at floor 1. As I said before, I have been to like probably towards floor 60 or something, but we're going to start at floor 1. It's going to be good for me, and it's going to be good for you guys as well, because you can see more of a complete sense of progression, as it were. So hopefully we'll be able to make it beyond floor 51, in which case the next time we come to start a new run, we can actually start there a little more comfortably. But we'll start at floor 1 for the time being, and we'll get our little cutscene as we go running in. There we go, we're now inside. So I've decided to play as the Reaper class for this first run. It's my melee damage dealing spec of choice. It uses a scythe to destroy enemies in close combat. And with this blue box over here on the left, you'll see the class name along with my current level, how much experience I need to advance to the next level. Pretty much ignore that because you level up as you go anyway. And then these items, which is empty at the moment, but we'll fill those up. Oh, under attack already. The items will fill up as we open chests and collect treasure. And the majority of that treasure is going to come in the form of... we're already level 2 just by beating up that one antelope. these treasures will come in the form of pomanders. We've actually just picked up the best one immediately. Pomander of Intuition reveals hidden treasure on the current floor, or if there isn't one on this floor, which there is not, you do not sense on this floor. So that will stay active until we reach a floor that we do find one. And that specific treasure, the Accursed Hoard, is the really valuable treasure that we only get access to after we defeat the boss that's guarding the set of floors that we're currently playing on. And those are hopefully things that we can take to the market boards and sell for in-game currency to other players. Unless it's something that we specifically want to keep for ourselves, of course. And that can come in the form of cosmetics, like clothing and things like that. Sometimes it's a pet, like a little minion pet. And there can be like barding for your Chocobo companion. You may have noticed I had a ostrich-shaped creature standing next to me before I came in. You can dress them up in outfits called barding, so that's another cosmetic option that you can sometimes get in these. So yeah, the pomanders, I'll explain them more as we go along instead of overwhelming you with too much information all at once. And also, I need to try to probably pay a little bit more attention to how many monsters I'm pulling all at once, because as I explained before, I don't want to accidentally walk on a mine while I'm fighting what would normally be a reasonable amount of monsters to fight all at once, because the mines do about 80 to 90% of your health in damage every time, regardless of what level you are or how strong your ether pool is. They're quite vicious, so I'm going to take our time with those. We have at the moment increased the number of treasure coffers on the next floor, which actually we could use to get more treasure on the next floor up, so that won't be on this one. We've also got one that reveals the current floor's map and the location of all hidden traps. That's actually going to be quite useful, but I'm going to try and hold on to it for now because I don't want to use too many too soon while we're just starting out. I generally like to use the first 10 floors to collect more pomanders, so that we've got more to use in higher floors up from 11 onwards. Usually just because the first 10 floors are normally quite easy and uneventful in general, but if you do happen to have an accident by simply not paying attention, then it doesn't really matter because you're not going to keep any of it anyway. So it's generally better to hold on to them, I feel, for the first 10. That blue chest that I just opened increased the ether pool arm by +1, which is the amount of damage that we deal with our weapon. You also would have noticed that the weapon I've got is different looking from the one that I had on my back before we came in, because when you're in these deep dungeons you get a unique ether weapon instead of your normal weapon. And you actually can, if you want to, collect the weapon skin from one of the NPCs outside by siphoning off your ether pool, which is how I reduced mine to 0. And then you can trade that in for items that you can then create the weapon skin, and then take that away with you and use it for its appearance if you want to. You sense the Accursed Hoard calling you. That means that the Pomander of Intuition that we used on floor 1 finally gets its day in the sun, as it were. Somewhere on this floor there will be a golden needle of light sticking up out of the ground, which will indicate There it is, exactly there. That indicates the location of the hidden treasure that is hopefully one of the more valuable ones. However, when we actually get outside, you'll probably be disappointed that it's actually nothing of any value, because the valuable rewards that you get from those are a little rarer. It's kind of like opening a mystery bag, and a lot of what you get is not very interesting. But we'll see afterwards, because I will do a treasure opening session when we're done. So you see that fills up this slot here, the little blue bag. That tells us how many of these treasures that we have currently. Now I've just stepped into a trap. See, I have become a toad, which is a type of disability trap. So I can still move around and I can hop. And it's very cute and it's very entertaining, but I can't fight or defend myself. So I'm going to stand here until it wears off, just because I don't want to have any accidents at all, whether it's walking into an additional trap, or in some cases chests will actually transform into mimics and try to eat you. And of course, if you, well, you can't open chests as frogs either, but you know, I don't know. I'm just playing extra safe, I guess. So we got the accursed hoard, and we're going to collect these two as well. We've now got 3 Pomander of Sight, which is really good, because those are the ones that will actually reveal the map to us, which can help us figure out where we want to go, and it'll also show us where traps are so that we actually don't walk into them. But we're not going to use those unless we come across a 4th one, in which case we can use one to avoid being wasted. But we're not going to waste too many on this first set of floors. And since this is first episode, I might do a second set of floors straight away. But what the plan will be is to do... Oh, crap. See, I've just become a toad while trying to fight this goblin, so I'm trying to run away now. But what I would like to do is do a set of 10 floors per episode, and it's probably going to be like 1 a day, completely unscheduled. I don't intend on scheduling these, because they will just be as and when I feel like it and have the time and opportunity to do it. So no schedules, and yeah, so it'll be like, generally, assuming it's a successful session, it will be a complete set of 10 each time. But if I happen to die mid-run, well, mid-episode I should say, what I might do, if it's early, is simply go over to the other dungeon and start a new run there straight away to extend the duration of the video. Also to make it more interesting for myself as well. But if it's towards the end, like on the 8th or 9th floor or on the boss, then I might just leave it. It will depend on my mood. So the video length will be, I suppose, on average, somewhere around half an hour to 40 minutes. Ah, another visitor, said the terrifying hovering boots. Okay, so yes, I have turned on cutscenes for the sake of making the videos, because I felt like that would actually be more fun for people who either don't know it or who just want to see as a part of the progression. Right, there's treasure over here to the left. We just used a Pomander of Sight because that chest contained one, so we would have wasted if we didn't use it. and that's lit the map up for us, and it'll also show us where traps are on the floor. This red sigil here is a bad. We do not stand in the bad if we can help it. But we also have a debuff on this floor. We are blinded, which is quite annoying, especially to we just found another Pomander of Sight, which will be wasted because we can't use two of those at the same time. But yeah, blind basically means that you will miss attacks more often, which is quite annoying. But it's not as bad as silence, which stops you from being able to use spells or weapon skills, and then you can only use abilities. So basically, all of your actions have two types. You've got weapon skills and abilities for the physical classes, and then you've got spells and abilities for the magic users. And when you have a silence effect on you, it stops you from being able to use spells or weapon skills depending on your class, which is way worse than being blinded. So to be honest, I should actually buy potions to remove that effect. I'm not particularly worried about blind or any of it. Oh, we just got an intuition. Let's see if there's a treasure on this floor before we leave. There is. There actually is. So we're going to go back and look for it. And this is the one and only exception to the rule of not wanting to hang around, because these are actually the potential money makers, the actual treasure that we're in here to find. What else did I just pull? Something else just spawned there. There it is. There we go. We have to go and find where it is though. There it is. And it's revealed after standing on that spot for a few seconds. So we got two of those now. So now we can sprint back to the exit and move up to floor 6. Now when I'm recording these runs for you guys, I may sometimes have a lot to say and keep waffling like I have this one so far, or I might have very little to say depending on my mood. So I hope you can bear with me on that and just accept that sometimes I will talk a lot and other times I will barely talk at all, and it's literally just going to be down to mood and whether or not I have anything I particularly want to talk about, I suppose. I will try to talk about Pomanders as and when I start using them, so hopefully this collection builds up a little bit more, and then when I start to use them from floor 11 onwards, I'll give a little introduction to what they are, for those of you who don't know. That's the exit. We have to come back to that once it opens. Okay, that's open now, so we can leave. Well, we will have to kill the goblin on the way through. There we go. So those of you who played older games like in the 80s or in the 90s. For me, this reminds me of Gauntlet. When I was a kid, my brother and I had Gauntlet 2 on the NES, and we used to play that quite a lot. And this game just kind of reminds me of that in certain regards. It's one of those old school dungeon games with simpler map design. I suppose these I have to be a bit more careful of though, because they can one-shot you if you're not careful. I don't think it's going to be able to, but okay. You see my health did go down from getting headbutted by that beetle at the same time as trying to fight the hornet. There we go. But yeah, those hornets, actually, they're the first real threat. They have an ability called Final Sting, and if you're not paying attention to it and you let it hit you, you're pretty much done there and there. So yes, be a little bit more careful with that. And in this case, we want to get rid of the goblin first because it's a lower level. So our ether pool at the moment is only +3 and +1. So at this rate, and now we are auto again. At this rate, we're actually going to start taking a little bit more damage than we'd like to, because we really want to pump that up a bit. So yeah, so Gauntlet, when I was a kid, this kind of reminds me of it. Like, the map design is obviously different. This isn't as maze-like. It's a bit simpler. But the aspect of doing simple dungeons, collecting treasure, killing monsters, finding the exit, it just reminds me of that kind of old school game a lot more. And I actually find that fun. I think that might be one of the reasons I like to take my time with it, because when me and my brother played those games, we played it pretty much the same way I'm playing it now. We'd head for the exit as soon as we could, like, unlock it, or, you know, if it was behind a locked door or some other kind of, like, maze element to it. But we would also take the time to explore and collect the treasure as well. And it was a lot of fun, so. I just suppose it is, in a sense, it's quite nostalgic for me in that way. Right, there's only monsters in that room and no treasure, so we're actually not going to bother fighting them. We're going to sprint over and see if we can find something else. There is a treasure in here, though. We're collecting potions, but I haven't got health potions on my bar at the moment. Well, I mean, I have, but only one that I don't own. There's quite a lot in here. Sorry. I should actually try to find out what the highest level potion is in here and maybe try and source some. There was a final sting coming, so I actually used my stun on that hornet, even though it was at low health, just in case. Which one's that? Sight again. Well, we don't need sight now because we're at the exit anyway. Although we would like to get that silver chest. +4 on the weapon now. Phoenix down. Oh, there's another. Oh, two of them. Wait, that's a strength. Oh, we've capped out on strength, so I'll use that one now. Pomander of Strength increases the damage or healing you do through your actions by 30% for 7 minutes. So we'll use that. That was the one that we already have 3 of that we don't need to use, so we won't get that. So while the Pomander of Strength is active, we'll just do more damage basically. And that's these 2 blue ones up on the top of the screen there. We've had a debuff applied to us, which makes us take more damage as well now, so we want to kind of be careful with that. And we've just gone on a landmine, so you saw how much damage that did. So I'm just going to wait to recover it, and hopefully that beetle isn't going to attack me. There we go. And we're going to kill the beetle just for the sake of it. There we go. It's poisoned us as well. Actually, so you'll see I'll take a minuscule amount of damage over time from that, which won't really do a lot on its own. But at higher levels, I assume those effects will actually have more of a noticeable effect. Another Pomander of Strength. So we're actually going to... You know what, I'll leave that one in there and collect it in a bit, because what I'll do is I'll use it on the way to the exit. So we replace the one that I use with that, and then we have the maximum amount again for longer, so we don't waste as much of the duration. Oh, we've pulled them all at once. Okay, we've just unlocked our teleporting ability, which will... Oh, that's only innovation. So the innovation trap is a sort of mild disabling trap that just reduces the amount of damage we deal and the increasing amount of damage we take. And I just got blown up by a mine. Yeah, see, some chests are mines as well. So if you walk on a landmine... I'm going to heal myself because that beetle's coming. If you walk on a mine, and then also... Oh, I stunned it too late. Also go and open one of those chests and it's a mine, you're done. Because that's 80% your health twice. You're not going to survive that. Right, we'll collect that extra Pomander of Strength. I have to get rid of this wasp on the way. There we go. And then we'll use the Pomander of Strength to refresh the duration on that. And then we'll collect the new one. And then we'll go and fight the boss. We're already on floor 10. So these earlier floors are a lot simpler and a lot easier than some of the higher level ones. So here's our first boss, the Palace Death Gaze. So there's not a lot to do other than just to walk in and smack it, really. Hopefully it's not going to be too tough to just beat it up. I'll be able to use some of my abilities to heal myself as we go. I've actually set the game's options to show my health bar above my head while I'm in combat as well. Some people like to have their name and health bar on at all times. I prefer not to have my own name on because I find it gets in the way. And I will have my health bar turn up in combat only. That's just the way I prefer to do it. I'm going to need to heal myself in a second because that bleed effect is murdering me. Got that just in time, I think. That's the teleport. There we go. We just actually got away with that. So hopefully I'll be able to find more of those silver chests, those blue ones. They're called silver chests even though they're blue. That increase our armor, because with only +1 armor, that boss was actually smacking me up quite badly. So this is the actual exit of the set. Oh, it's those scary boots again. So we're being observed by a floating lady. So from here we can exit back out into the real world, or we can continue on to the next set of floors. So because this is the first video, I'm going to actually continue on, and hopefully we'll be able to see more pomanders, and we'll be able to use and explain some of those. Excuse me. After this, I will stick to doing just one set of floor at a time. Yeah. Strength. So we're going to use a strength straight away, and because we have 3 steel, we're actually going to use that as well, which reduces the amount of damage we take by 40% for the same duration. So I think it's actually 8 minutes, but it comes up as 7 because as soon as you apply it, that first second ticks down and it goes to 7. So it is technically 8 minutes of 30% extra damage dealt and 40% less damage taken. So that should help quite a bit. Also, I haven't been acknowledging the level that we've reached already, but the level is 22. The maximum level for Palace of the Dead is level 50, so we're almost halfway through our progression in unlocking spells and abilities, because you like obviously outside in the main game, I have Reaper at level 90, which is the current maximum, so I have all of these spells and abilities unlocked. But in here we started at level 1 and we are now level 22, so we have far fewer abilities available to us, and we just unlock more as we go along. Oh, there is actually a chest in there. Did I not open that? Or did I go to open it and then it was duplicate? Oh look, we're a toad again. Something will spawn in a second, won't it? Oh, it's strength. So we're now up to 3 again on those. There's the exit. We can actually leave straight away, but we've got 3 of these affluence pomanders, which increases the number of treasure coffers on the next floor. So we're going to pop one of those. So we should get more treasure in the rooms we visit on floor 12. Okay, there's a silver one here straight away, which is great. That's where the exit is, so we'll be coming back for that. Exit has been activated, so we can head straight for that now. So we didn't get as many treasure coffers out of that as we might have liked, but then, oh actually, that's a silver one. I'm going to go for that. Purely because we're only at +5 and +3 at the moment on our ether pools, so we do want that. And since we did use the pomander to get extra chests, it's not such a bad exception to make for the usual rule of just leaving immediately. There we go, so we're now +4 on strength. Right, I won't go to the other room because there really isn't much point in going too much. It's only because I saw it through the archway. We're a toad again. Many toads on this floor, including us. Just letting my health tick up a little bit in case this explodes. It didn't, we're great. So we're at +7 on our armor already, which is awesome, because I was actually saying that the armor was the lowest one at the end of the first set of floors. Oh, chest right there for us, that's nice. Pomander of Fortune, what does this do? Increases the chance enemies on the current floor will drop treasure coffers. So let's actually use that one while we're here. And we might get a few more bits. A few more pomanders, maybe. Oh, it's an extra monster. I actually didn't notice that there was a second one there. Yeah, hopefully something in this floor will drop a chest for us. We might have some extra stuff in it. I will say it's been quite... That's another sight one. We might as well use the sight one then. And a slime appears immediately as well, of course, on top of the chest. It's been quite a lot less intuitions than actually I normally would even see. But I'm going to go after that extra treasure in there just because we haven't been getting many intuitions, and some runs you can actually get like 4 treasures per set of 10 floors, or maybe even more in some cases. There's one, just as I was saying, and it actually dropped from that monster, so we'll pop that straight away. Right, there is not a treasure on this floor, not a cursed hoard at least. Strength again. Right, so let's use a strength and a steel, because they actually did expire just a moment ago anyway. So we'll use those and we'll collect the extra strength one. The exit is open, so we don't need to hang around and fight those guys. We could for extra XP, but we'll be okay. We'll be okay for XP. It might be... There is a chest in here, but we have to find it. There it is. There's strength again. I mean, might as well. There we go. What's this? Oh, we have a hoard on this floor. So what we'll do is we'll use the sight one because we've been getting more of those. So we'll be able to see where traps are, and we can even see where the exit is. So we can avoid going to the exit too soon. Try and turn away from that. When something has like a red eye on it, you have to turn away from it or not be standing in the effect. So usually turn away is better, because it's not always an area. It's normally like anywhere in range, especially at high levels. Good, we got another steel, so we'll be able to use that as well at some point. Okay, the exit is open, but we just need to check this room first. There's the needle. So we will get at least one from this set of floors, and with the 2 we got from the first, we will at least have some treasure to open once we get back outside. Grab this one while we're here as well, obviously. Another intuition. Perfect. We might as well even pop that now, because although there won't be another one on this floor, it's already active when we get up to the next floor, and that will stay active until we reach a floor that contains a piece of the accursed hoard. Exits this way. Got away with that. I want that chest as well, so we might as well just kill everything in here. and that's replaced our Pomander of Sight, which is great. We've returned the strength because we've already got too many, so we'll use that. So it hasn't told us that we sense the accursed horde on this floor, so there isn't going to be one of those here for us, unfortunately. But that effect will remain until we do find one. So hopefully we find one before we get to the boss. Adventurer. It's not often you encounter NPC adventurers in here. That feels really uncomfortable, actually. Where's the chest? There it is. Okay, the exit is open, so we don't need to go any further, especially since there isn't an accursed horde on this floor. I'm curious, that adventurer said, "Where are the others?" when we killed him. I wonder if that means that there would actually be more hidden on this floor, and if there's actually a reason to kill them. But that feels really uncomfortable. We're not normally in the business of murdering other adventurers. Okay, there is a horde on this floor, and we've just run into another Pomander of Sight, so we're going to use that one. That's why I usually look back as well. Sometimes they drop chests, and that's another intuition, which is really good. The exit's there. Let's have a look up here first. There's the needle. And the exit is open as well now. And I wouldn't normally this late on, but we've got 2 floors left that the intuition might find another. So I will pop that one just in case we're lucky enough to get a 3rd one on the 18th or 19th floor. But once we pass that point, it will be wasted, so hopefully we get one. Right, there is one on this floor, which is great. So we'll actually use a sight pomander again. And because we've got 3 affluences, I'm going to use one of those as well, which will make more coffers on the next floor up. The strength and steel pomanders that I have active are due to expire as well. And we just found another steel now, so I'm actually going to pop both a strength and a steel, and then we can collect the extra steel. Oh, there's a lot going on in here. Exit is open. There's no other monsters. Well, there's no other chests in there. And there's no reason to fight that monster. But we still want to find our gold needle before we move on. There it is. These guys are fun. These guys have a sneeze that will put every debuff on you at once. Bleeds, poisons, paralysis. But it's not literally every debuff in the game, but it's a lot of debuffs. It spiders. Luckily, one-on-one, it's actually quite easy to dodge it. But if you do happen to get hit by it, it's very, very frustrating and potentially deadly in some situations. So we've actually got 3 pieces of accursed hoard treasure from this second. Bloody hell, there's a lot in here. From this second set of floors. So combine that with the 2 we got previously, that's 5. So that's not too bad. Safety, which one does that do? Removes all traps. I mean, there's no reason to do that, but just so we can pick this one up. But Pomander of Safety removes traps from the current floor, as opposed to Sight, which reveals traps. Now, is it worth using our Pomander of Intuition with only one floor remaining? I don't think it is, since we only have one. I would actually rather I would actually rather wait and use that on floor 21 instead. It would be different if we had 3, then, you know, it might have been worth using it, but we're not going to do that. So yes, again, stopping and waiting. I don't know why, actually, since we're going to use a strength and a steel because there's a steel in here. I don't know why I stopped and waited. I think it was more just a habit. It's another steel. Right, we literally can't use another steel. So we just move on. And that's another steel. So we're just not going to use that one either. We'll wait. Another steel, wow. Pomander of steel in all of the chests. Passage is active already, but we do want to just grab this. There we go. +7 arm now, and +8 armor. We've also reached level 33, so well on our way to unlocking all of our skills. Right, boss time. Can't be stunned. Hornets. Need to grab a potion. I know I picked up some stronger ones. Don't have anything to stop that. I might actually end up dying here, to be honest, which would be quite a shame. Alright, we got it. Okay, if I hadn't dragged those potions out of my bag, I actually would have died quite easily, quite early on in that fight, but managed. So I'm definitely going to have to sort out some potions, not only health ones, but also the ones that will remove the silencing ability, which will be very useful later. Right, so now that we've done 2 sets, we'll come out and have a look at what our treasures are, and then that will be it for this. See, there's my chocobo wearing his cold weather clothes. He's a good boy. Good pet. Oh yes. So if we talk to the bishop here, we'll be able to see what treasure we got. We can open all 5 at once. That's actually a new feature that's just been added in, so we'll do that. What do we get? We get some trunks, which might sell for some money. We get a magic prism, which is just a little firework effect you can put off over your own head. A clear demi materia 3. I can't remember if that's actually the valuable one or not, but I mean, I can sell it to a regular vendor for 5,000, which is, you know, at least something. And then another firework. So we've got a pair of shorts that somebody might want, and a 5,000 gil token that I can go and investigate if that's worth more or not. So that's it. The next time we'll be continuing from floor 21 and see how far I can actually make it. I'm going to go buy some potions in the meantime as well, so I should be better prepared next time. So thank you for hanging out, and I will see you next time. Take care.